What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the 2008 mixtape by Bizarre. Basically, this project is called Hate Music and it came out somewhere in 2008. So the thing about this particular project is just the fact that Bizarre back in the day was dropping a series of mixtapes. Now he dropped his second album, Blue Cheese and Coney Island, in late 2007. But apparently there's a mixtape that I posted a community post about not too long ago talking about Bizarre's World from 2007, which came out the same month as Blue Cheese and Coney Island. So I would definitely say to look around for that particular project. If you can find it, definitely post that sort of stuff. I mean, I know that's kind of far fetched to kind of say that just because it's been 16, 17 years as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it, but it's definitely a hot ticket of a project from what I've seen. Google, the Internet Archive, Dat Piff, Remnant, Certified Mixtape, some of those type places don't really have it, but it's definitely a heralded project. So definitely, we got to get that in circulation, get that back out there. But just to say, this particular project was kind of a tricky one to find as well. It's kind of the concept. It's not really on the mixtape website as far as that particular kind of goes. There are some other bizarre mixtapes that kind of are, but I feel like this one in particular, kind of isn't hate music. I'd say and it's pretty awesome. It's definitely bizarre. It's definitely Bizarre back on his gothic type shit and horrorcore type shit as far as that particularly kind of goes along with it. Definitely some classic stuff. King Gordy's on here a couple of times. Eminem is even on here once, and Obi Trice is on here. Some good pitches like that. So this is pretty much like a classic tape. I would have to damn near say it's really short, only 8 songs, pretty compact type project. But I would definitely have to say it's worth picking up or at least trying to find. This is another one that needs to be distributed back on mixtape formats. This is just too good of a mixtape to not be anywhere else. I'm very glad this is still available because if I wouldn't have been able to review this music, I probably would have been a little bit salty about it because this is just such good quality here. It's just an excellent type one. Definitely ahead of quite a bit of mixtapes out there. I'd say this is just Bizarre. I know Bizarre gets a lot of flack just because there's people who don't like his kind of shock rap style and pitches like that. Feel like he's not much of a lyricist, but he goes in. I mean, he actually has some good stuff on here, and he's pretty much a pro at horrorcore, just like King Gordy being a king of horrorcore. He's another king of horrorcore and stuff like that. So this is definitely a packaging that I would have to say that needs to be redistributed in pitches like that. I suppose pretty dope concept at that in particular. But yeah, the album cover is pretty wicked. I'd have to say this definitely looks pretty horrific in pitches like that. It just looks out of something out like the Bones movie with Snoop Dogg. Some of those type pitches or one of those type fares is something King Gordy would have done. It's an excellent type pitch. But yeah, there's 8 songs on this particular mixtape, and out of those 8, I wound up recommending to you 7. So it's a great concept to basically get. This is basically going to damn near get a classic. I would give it a 10 out of 10. It's just kind of the concept that just because there's so many scant kind of songs that even not liking 1 or 2 songs still snatches it from being like a classic. But I just would say it's definitely going to get a really high score, I'd have to say. But talk about the songs I recommend on here. Basically, the only song I don't recommend out of these 8 on here is just Reach for the Sky, which to talk about that one's just kind of a more personable type cut on here that just didn't really fit the vibe as far as that particular pitch kind of went. I feel like Tired of Being Broke just pulled off that vibe a little bit better. That was more in like a kind of homely Tech 9 type vibe, Tired of Being Broke. But I feel like Reach for the Sky was just a more homely type one. Kind of similar to some of those ones that Bizarre did on Handicap Circus that were just poor type ones that just had a lot of rumination and like a more personal sense that just didn't pull off the vibe. But other than that, this mixtape is pretty much a classic, I'd have to say. So we'll go ahead and talk about the songs on here. Basically, an excellent type one on here is Peer Pressure. This is a pretty highlighted one. This is like a glaring kind of vintage horrorcore doom bop of a song, I'd have to say in particular. Great stuff for that. It's like a great neighborhood romp music, I'd have to say in particular. Just smoke it around the neighborhood, I'd have to say. Smoke a few, get crunk type tunes as far as that pitch kind of goes. There's definitely some party bops on here. I definitely feel like Peer Pressure is a pretty good one for that. The Eminem song Baby Girl is a pretty good one for that. We're getting ready to talk about that. And I'd have to say Drugs with Obi tries to a really nice one for some of those boppish type ones. I do like the fact that Bizarre stepped out a bit, did have some good boppish type ones to just kind of have for some appeal and hangout type sessions. Just kind of the concept. I mean, this is a social project here, kind of similar to King Gordy, where it's horrific, I'd have to say, in a lot of ways, but it has like a very glaring theme, but it also has a pretty good concept, just some turn up and pitches like that. Peer Pressure is one of those examples. But if you're coming Bizarre's way from the Eminem fold, I'd have to say Baby Girl with Eminem's a real nice one. This is a real woozy kind of personal cut, I'd have to say in particular. Great, dark, moody, ruminating gem, I'd have to say in particular. Just an excellent concept to kind of get this one. This is pretty similar to Eminem's Mockingbird type vibes, I'd have to say. A pretty good pitch for that, and it's a pretty slick hit. So the unfortunate thing is Eminem doesn't really drop a verse on this particular song, but he does drop a chorus, which is pretty good. It's pretty haunting. Just would have to say, it really reminds me of something that he would have done on like Mockingbird or like When I'm Gone, some of those type pitches. Maybe not as clever and as full blown ubiquitous as When I'm Gone, but definitely that same kind of moody, personal type hit that Eminem was known for in like the early 2000s. Starting to think of some ones kind of like My Dad's Gone Crazy, Mockingbird, some of those type ones. I mean, it's about a baby girl, it's about like a daughter, some pitches like that. I'd have to say, but it's just a good concept to get some of that. Just the fact that Bizarre can pull off these type cuts as well. Did definitely like the fact that Eminem was on the song, because most of the time, 9 times out of 10 or 9.5 times out of 10, Eminem's not really on mixtapes ever. So it's a pretty dope concept to get. So it's definitely a pretty dope concept to get him on this particular song. But once again, this mixtape's not that readily available, but this is a big reason why it should be. 1980 with King Gordy's another highlighted one. This is like a leery kind of after hours hangout cut. I'd have to say in particular, it's like a stellar and kind of funny King Gordy hook that this song in particular kind of has. He really outdoes himself on this particular song. This is just like a stock horrorcore hit, I'd have to say. And the song definitely gives some 8 Mile kind of vibes about it, I suppose. It's pretty nice one. This one's just a real leery type one, just kind of an after hours type pitch as far as that particular kind of goes. Just some good concepts kind of get here. Just real grim type song. Another horrorcore highlight, King Gordy and Bizarre team up. Just another classic one, just within that relative pitch. They always do well as far as that pitch kind of particularly goes along with it. So some good stuff. Yeah, just a real leery type one. Just really like the pitch behind this particular song. Just another highlighted one. Drugs is a pretty boppish song with Obi Tricep, had to say in particular. It's like a boppish kind of mess hall. The song is like a boppish kind of mess hall jive of a song, I'd say in particular. It's like a grab a beer kind of hangout evening flair of a song. I'd have to say pretty good pitch for that. It's like a dope Obi Trice cameo that this song particularly kind of has. It's forget. I mean, folks kind of forget about Obi Tricep, I'd say in some pitches. He's a pretty dope cat. He's pretty good lyricist. He can keep up with Eminem and pitches like that, keep up with Bizarre, some of those type pitches as far as that particular kind of goes. It's just some great weekend fun, I'd have to suppose. This one's a little bit more recreational. This one's one of the few songs on here that's not as full blown. This is one of the ones on this project that's not as full blown horrorcore as far as that pitch can goes. This one just kind of has more of just like an adult kind of atmosphere, just a little bit more boppish type one for really smoking pitches like that, just kind of being swirled in pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. It's some good stuff to kind of get cranked to it, I suppose. Really appreciate the concept of it. Just overall like the concept of getting back towards some of these type pitches as far as that particular kind of goes. Tired of Being Broke is a pretty highlighted one. Definitely appreciate this one. It's like a blustery kind of out and about day commerce of a song, I'd have to say in particular. It definitely gives me some 2000s Tech Nine type vibes as far as that particular kind of goes. Folks like Tech Nine, Cut Calhoun, some of those type ones, like In a White Man's World off of In a White Man's World off of Cut Calhoun's Pleb albums and pitches like that, and like Tech Nine's Yada Yada Yada, some of those type pitches off of Absolute Power, some of those type ones in particular. This is just like a mid-pace kind of Aaron's hit, I'd have to suppose. So it's a pretty good pitch just for some day commerce, Aaron's type tune as far as that particular kind of goes. Paying bills, pitches like that, picking up some food, getting some Popeyes, some pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. It's a regular kind of, I wouldn't say summer day, but just kind of regular day type fare, just relatively warm weather pitches like that, just relative aspects as far as that particular kind of goes. There's some aspects just for being out and about in like the day commerce, just almost like a makeshift type song, I would have to say. It's interesting for Bizarre to kind of have some of these type pitches, just kind of get that in particular, but it's a great concept to kind of have just for some of that. Definitely like these Tech Nine type songs from Bizarre. It's a pretty good pitch. Saddam is a pretty nice one. This says King Gordy on here. This is another highlighted type one. King Gordy drops a verse on this particular song, so I definitely appreciate the concept of it. This like a rowdy kind of outing music for like having a bad day, some pitches like that, haven't had a bad day type vibes, I'd have to say. It's like a good rap rock turn up type song, I'd say in particular. And this is just like some reconcile with pals type tune, I'd say. And this is just great for some smokers. So this is a real rap rock type tune. This really has that guitar riffs on there, which is pretty dope to kind of get. There's some real gnarled type stuff to kind of get as far as that kind of goes. This really works great for if you did have a bad day, work sucks, some pitches like that, bitches, women giving you problems, some pitches like that. It's a good concept, kind of turn up at a club or at a homie's house, some pitches like that, and just smoke a few pitches like that. It's kind of play some PlayStation, some of those type pitches. It's real. I mean, even this could be some good venue music. I'd have to say in particular, if you could find venues that play mixtapes as far as that particular kind of goes. This real social, and this has that outing type fare, just being out and about and kind of having like the gloss of just like social kind of appeal as far as that kind of goes. This great outing music just for stepping out. Real rowdy type song. Definitely like the pitch behind it, just letting off some steam and pitches like that, I'd have to say. And then I'm Crazy is a pretty highlighted one. And then I'm Crazy is a pretty highlighted one. That's like a good in motion buzzer for autumn, I'd say in particular. It's definitely a pretty haunting song just for being in Traverse and pitches like that. This is a get some stuff done, kind of pick up food type song, I'd have to say in particular. Just definitely, this is definitely a great one for getting ready for a night out, I suppose, in particular. If you're getting ready to get to listening to songs like Saddam and Drugs and Baby Girl and some of those type ones and Peer Pressure 1980, this is definitely be like a primer for that particular type of song. It's a good rowdy type one just for being in car drivers, pitches like that, just getting ready, get the last of tasks done. Kind of good combination with Tired of Being Broke, I'd have to say. Just Tired of Being Broke and I'm Crazy are some good Travers type ones just for getting ready to step out pitches like that, just getting the last bit of things done, getting the last bit of things done as far as that pitch kind of goes. So that's the concept about this particular project. So me recommending 7 songs out of 8 on this particular mixtape. I'm gonna go ahead and give this mixtape like a 9.5 out of 10. If I disliked, I just would have to say it's really on the cusp of getting like a 10 out of 10. It's just the fact that this project is so short. If it had been 8 out of 9, possibly I probably would have given it a 10 out of 10. But 8 songs is just pretty scant as far as that particular gun goes. But it's definitely 9.5. It's one of Bizarre's best projects, I'd have to say. Definitely up there with Blue Cheese and Coney Island, Liquor, Weed, and Food Stamps, some of those type ones. It's a real excellent type fare. Handicap, it's definitely better than Handicap Circus pitches like that. And it's probably up there with Devil's Night from 2001 by D12, some of those type pitches as far as that particular kind of goes. It's excellent type stuff. Horrorcore Batch is some good stuff to kind of get within that pitch. Plenty of good recreational party type pops on here and pitches like that. Some good leery horrorcore, some of those type pitches, and even some decent day commerce, and even some good day commerce as far as like air and running and pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. So some great stuff. So the social score, I'm probably going to give it 10 out of 10 just because of that particular flair, just the social outing type music, the party bops on here, just the overall mess hall type stuff, this overall recreational type air smokage type tunes, getting crunks and pitches like that, just nightclub type tunes and hangout type songs that really work pretty damn well. I'd have to say just the social appeal of it. Songs like Day Commerce, songs like Tired of Being Broke and I'm Crazy, some of those type pitches that just work pretty well for like makeshift as far as that particular kind of goes. That's some excellent type stuff to kind of get here. So that's the concept. So 10 social, 9.5 score, I'd have to say. So in terms of the future, like Bizarre's been putting out quite a few projects. He's actually had a pretty prolific run as far as that particular kind of goes along with it. We're going to have to definitely get to some more of these, but I would have to say I do highly recommend this mixtape. We need to get it redistributed. Like I was saying before, it's just an excellent concept to get some of these back on the market. And we definitely, if we could find Bizarre's World from 2007, I would definitely say I would get to reviewing that and just showcase the fact that that's probably a piece of work as well as far as that particular kind of goes. But I do highly recommend this project.